I'm just finishing my cookie. Sorry. I want this video to be on the light of Christ. This again, these doctrines that I'm giving you, you'll never see anywhere else in their totality. A half a century with these people, I have learned every word, every phrase, every policy, every doctrine, everything that is said under the table, and what is said outside that doesn't match truth. I've seen it. Let me give you this quick idea that the Mormons believe. They believe that every human being that is born has, quote, the light of Christ in them. Now that's a very vague concept in the Mormon Church, and it's used many times with missionary work. They will say, missionaries will say, that's a golden contact. A golden contact means we're going to sell them. They're going to pay us tithing, gross tithing for the rest of their living days on the earth. We're going to get them baptized. Some of you know that I've done some, in college, I did some psychic research. And one of the topics that I went over a little bit, not extensively, was auras. Auras. We see this in paintings, and we see it in historical documents, especially about Jesus and many of the popes, saints, and whatever. And it's that light that shines off of their head. It's called an aura. There are some human beings that appear to be able to see auras. And there's some Curlian photography, the Russian couple, that it can indicate that the aura can be way out or it can be way in and can show actually sickness before the sickness is manifested in the body. So the Mormons use this light of Christ to tie everybody in the world into being a Mormon. Since everybody has the light of Christ, they're certainly all going to be Christians. Now, the Muslims don't know this. The Hindus don't know that they're going to be Christian. And the Buddhists, I have a little friend, my daughter has a friend that is Buddhist. They don't know that they're soon going to convert. This, again, these doctrines that come up with the people, and they take a few words out of a sentence of a leader, and then it becomes as man or as God is. He once was a man, as man is, he can become God. And when shit doesn't work, they all go, he was speaking as a man. He wasn't a prophet when he said that. Well, okay, there's those tapes on the right side of the brain. The left side ain't working. That's a Mormon. The missionaries are looking for the right-sided brain and people who are desperate. So I just wanted to give you a quick idea that the Mormons believe every human being is born with the light of Christ. Auras, some people say they can see them. I'm not sure. There are people, I think we've all met, that we have a little deja vu. That, gee, I know this, I've known this person before. And they just seem to be happy, happy, happy and bright, you know, kind of a little cheerleader, and just delights them. Delights them. Is that the light of Christ? Well, if it's a cheerleader, I might get rebaptized. No, God. I'm mentally ill. Let me get my medications again. I'm too old for cheerleaders now. It reminds me of the joke. And if you're offended, be offended. I don't care. This 90-year-old man went into his doctor, and the doctor says, well, why are you here? And the old boy said, well, I'm here to get a marriage physical. And the doctor says, you're getting married? And he said, yeah. I'm getting married to a 20-year-old. And the doctor looked at him and said, well, sex at your age could be deadly. And the old boy looked the doctor in the eyes and said, well, if she dies, she dies. I like that joke. I'm old. I like that joke. So anyway, the light of Christ, I have none. You can see that. I have no hair. I have no light. And do I give a rat's ass? No, I don't. But the Mormons, they want to believe everyone has the light of Christ. When I see these, it breaks my heart when I see these, especially the African children that have no food, and you see their ribs, and they're dying, and they die in the thousands every day. And I don't see the light of Christ. I've been in the Philippines. I've told you many times I adopted two Philippine little girls that live with me today. Finishing raising, one just turned 9, one turned 13. And what do the Mormons say when you ask them, like I would, that I've been in Philippine orphanages and I've had children basically dying right there while I'm holding them or trying to feed them? And I don't know, I'm a little emotional about some of these things. I visited an orphanage, and the kids were happy because I was an American, and they thought, and I did, I bought them some things. And they said, "Do you want to see Cindy?" And I said, "Well, where is Cindy?" "Oh, she's back in there, she's back in there." And I said, "Well, if it's okay, I'll go see Cindy." Well, the kids took me back, and it was a 10-year-old girl sitting naked in a homemade wheelchair who was mentally retarded. And she was sitting in her own feces and urinating on the floor, and had no clothes, and was there by herself. You know, the only remorse and the only regret I have living on this earth is that I couldn't help more. I adopted two, and they're doing excellently. And they were, my littlest one had typhoid. She was dying in a hospital, and my other one was hiding behind the wall, never smiled, never spoke. They're both A students and play the piano and go to karate and have friends over and skateboard and rollerblade and ice skate. When I saw that girl in the wheelchair, it's left a definite impression upon me. I regret that I don't have more money. I regret that I couldn't do more. You can buy Filipino kids a McDonald's hamburger, which they've never had, and they smile up like a lit candle. They're just brilliant and beautiful. And that's one meal, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But to be totally responsible for all of their health and all of their needs is also a good thing. And I've had both my girls sick this week, and God, it's been the Tylenol, and it's been the Dayquil, and it's been the throwing up and the temperature, and the kids in the Philippines just die. And I'm so grateful that I have two. That's all I could do. This light of Christ, I never saw in an orphanage. This light of Christ I've never seen in a squatter's camp in the Philippines. And although the children many times can be happy and joyful, they don't know that they're going to die and that they're basically hopeless as human beings, that no one's going to reach out and do anything. So does this light of Christ exist? Well, if it does, then every Muslim was born with it. Every Hindu and every Buddhist and every Baptist and Seventh-day Adventist and all the people of the world, the Mormon Church believes, are going to become Mormons, and they do have the light of Christ in them, so they will convert to Mormonism easily. I've been honest with you from the very beginning, and I'll be honest with you till the very end. When I think of that young girl that I saw, she looked at me and she smiled and she smiled and she smiled. She didn't have one thing to smile about, but she found something to smile about. When I've driven down to City Creek Mall and I see the hundreds, if not thousands, of workers trying to brace that great and spacious building out of the ground for $3 to $5 billion, I wonder if that little gal in the wheelchair knew they were doing that with the light of Christ and Jesus' money, and that the Mormon church let her sit there in the condition that I found her. How can a church build a mall in the name of Jesus Christ and then ignore that girl sitting there? Her little face has haunted me for 6 years. I wish I could do more. I'm not in a position to do that anymore. If I get angry ever again at the Mormon church, that will be the reason. That they take the money from the poor and they buy Cadillacs and Learjets and fancy clothes and fancy offices, and they don't look for that little girl in the wheelchair. It wasn't hard. I'm just an ordinary citizen. I found her. How come the Mormon church can't find her?